across the desert sands, where the sun dipped into the dunes like a golden egg, a young girl named Ava wandered. Her feet kicked up tiny storms of sand as she searched for something. Anything that would bring her back to the oasis. Her family's small settlement was nestled among the palm trees, where the cool breeze and gentle hum of insects created a soothing melody. But Ava was restless, her curiosity getting the better of her. She had heard stories of a mystical spring, hidden deep within the desert, where the waters were said to have healing properties. Her grandmother, a wise and kind woman, had spoken of it often, telling Ava that it was a place of great beauty and wonder. But as the sun began to set, Ava realized she was farther from the oasis than she had ever been before. The stars were starting to twinkle in the sky, and she knew she had to find shelter for the night. As she trudged through the sand, her eyes scanned the horizon for any sign of life. Suddenly, a shape emerged from the darkness. It was a camel, its humps rising and falling with each step. Ava approached cautiously, not wanting to startle the animal. To her surprise, the camel nuzzled her gently, as if sensing her exhaustion. The camel, whose name was Mira, led Ava to a small cave hidden behind a dune. The entrance was narrow, but Mira squeezed through with ease, and Ava followed, her eyes adjusting to the dim light. Inside, the air was cool and damp, and Ava felt a sense of relief wash over her. Mira settled down beside her, and Ava stroked the camel's soft fur, grateful for the companionship. As she looked around the cave, she noticed strange symbols etched into the walls. They seemed to pulse with a soft, blue light, and Ava felt an inexplicable connection to them. As the night wore on, Ava drifted off to sleep, lulled by the sound of Mira's gentle snoring. She dreamed of the mystical spring, and when she woke, she felt a sense of determination wash over her. She knew she had to find it. Mira, sensing Ava's resolve, stood up, and together they set off into the desert. The sun was already high in the sky, casting a golden glow over the dunes. Ava's feet ached, but she pressed on, her eyes fixed on the horizon. As the day wore on, the air grew hotter and drier. Ava's canteen was almost empty, and she knew she had to find shade and water soon. Mira, sensing her distress, led her to a small cluster of trees, their branches twisted and gnarled with age. Ava collapsed beneath their shade, drinking from her canteen and eating a few dry dates. As she rested, Ava noticed that the symbols on the cave walls were etched into the trees as well. They seemed to be leading her somewhere, and she felt a sense of excitement build in her chest. Mira, sensing her excitement, nuzzled her gently, and together they set off once more. The desert stretched out before them, seemingly endless, but Ava was determined to find the mystical spring. She followed the symbols, her heart pounding with anticipation. Finally, after what felt like hours of walking, Ava saw it, a shimmering oasis, surrounded by towering palm trees and filled with crystal clear water. The spring was even more beautiful than Ava had imagined. She approached the water's edge, feeling the cool breeze on her skin and the soft sand beneath her feet. Mira, sensing her joy, nuzzled her gently, and Ava stroked the camel's fur, tears of happiness pricking at the corners of her eyes. As she drank from the spring, Ava felt a sense of peace wash over her. The water was cool and refreshing, and she felt her parched throat and dry skin begin to heal. She looked around the oasis, taking in the beauty of the palm trees and the vibrant flowers that bloomed around the spring. As the sun began to set, Ava settled down beside the spring, her eyes fixed on the stars beginning to twinkle in the sky. Mira lay down beside her, and together they watched the stars. The desert night air filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers. The next morning, Ava woke to the sound of birds singing in the palm trees. She felt refreshed and renewed. her body and spirit revitalized by the mystical spring. She looked at Mira, who was already standing, her ears perked up and her eyes shining with intelligence. Together, they set off back across the desert, the sun rising over the dunes like a golden egg. Ava knew that she would never forget this journey, and the magical spring that had healed her body and spirit. She felt grateful for the companionship of Mira, and the wisdom of her grandmother, who had told her of the spring's existence. As they approached the oasis, Ava saw that her family was gathered around the spring, their faces filled with concern. Her grandmother, wise and kind, approached her, a look of relief on her face. "Ava, we were worried about you," she said, her voice soft and gentle. "We didn't know if you would ever return." Ava smiled, feeling a sense of peace wash over her. "I found it," she said, her voice filled with excitement. "The mystical spring. It's real. And it's beautiful." Her grandmother's eyes lit up with pride. "I knew you would find it," she said. "You have a sense of wonder and curiosity that will take you far in life." Ava smiled, feeling grateful for the journey and the lessons she had learned. She knew that she would always cherish the memory of her adventure across the desert sands, and the magical spring that had healed her body and spirit. From that day on, Ava returned to the mystical spring whenever she could, always accompanied by Mira, her loyal and faithful camel companion. And as she grew older, she shared her story with others, inspiring them to seek out their own magical places, and to never lose their sense of wonder and curiosity. The mystical spring remained a secret, known only to a select few, but its magic lived on, a reminder to all who visited of the power of wonder, and the beauty that lay just beyond the horizon. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.